So today I'm here at the mill. I've got my hard hat on because I have to do some work. We're going to do a wee bit of a visit. I've got some extra wee bits and pieces that I need to get done here. But while I'm here, I wanted to show you the arch that I want to put in. Now, some people have been giving some comments about it. We're going to do some work in regards to the arch. I've done a bit of homework investigation on it. And what I've found is there has to be this massive big structure that I have to build out of timber. It's going to cost me about $1,000 in timber to actually build the form work for the arch to go in. So if you can see, the arch is going to be here. Now you can barely see me, but from there, there's going to be a new arch all the way over to here. This building was knocked down. This used to be known as the weight room. I'm shouting like you're far away, and I remember I got a microphone. So there's a building to go here and back in there. This was known as the weighing room, and that's going to be redeveloped. So the arch will be built from this column here to about here, and we have to produce a form work on it. Now, since the last time you were here, or I've been doing some clearing back, and we're clearing down the road. So if you want to turn your cameras here. So I've been pulling back all the leaves, and I've been pulling back all this stuff here, getting rid of all the ivy. It's getting there. This is a barn up here. That's a barn that faces the road. And if you come on down, I've managed to clear most of the ivy myself. And all the bramble and the briar. And then if you have a look here, a part of the barn roof has caved in. So that sadly has to be repaired, replaced for us to continue with the refurbishment on that building. Now, it's not that hard. It may look hard to some people, but to me, there's probably about 2 weeks work for say 2 of us to put up a scaffolding, pull it down and rebuild the frames, put new frames in. I probably will have to reconstruct frames by hand by taking one of these sample ones and doing it all manually. It's not going to be that hard. There's 2 hips to go in. If you understand what a hip is when 2 roof lines hit like so, and that's known as a hip. You've valleys and you've hips, and this requires 2 hips. So what I've also done is I've pulled out the gateway to the cottage. So if you have a look here, there's the cottage there. And I've pulled out the original gateway to the building. This was all overgrown. Now I'll keep this gate in here for the time being, but the idea is to pull that out and get it restored and get a beautiful new wee path put in here for this. We will most likely alarm this and electronically alarm this and make sure that everything's all right. But I want to keep pulling back the ivy. Keep that. There's a thorn bush. I'm going to keep that thorn bush here because it's a native species bush in Northern Ireland or Ireland, and I want to keep it here. So that's very important to me to maintain that. I enjoy native plant life. I don't like things that come from places like Cyprus and they grow here. It has to be native plants. As you can see, the outline of the cottage. So as I pull back the ivy, now there's much more work to do here. I just got tired. There's much more work to do in regards to that. Again, it has the same granite stone in here somewhere, but there's a lot more work involved in that. We'll probably have to take the chainsaw to this to end that ivy. And again, I've got loads of land at the back of this cottage. And I've done a wee bit of work, and as you have a look here, look, now I'll show you what comes out of the back of the cottage. So we'll go round here first, and actually I tell you what, we'll show you later as we're walking round. So come on, follow me, and don't do that little I've seen you, Roeem, I've heard it. Again, we're walking through. I want to keep walking and talking. It's great for you guys who are really excited about my project. For that, to the viewers, I'm really grateful because it's something I need, and I will tell you guys, and I'll come close and I'll tell you this. I actually really appreciate your feedback. It is really important to me to gain inspiration for this, and I feel that all your comments and your subscribes and all your likes actually is inspiring me to work harder. I do work long hours and I've got lots of businesses, but it's so inspirational to a point where I want to invest more money into this and get it done quicker. So thank you to everyone that's helping me along the way. Please keep the positive comments coming, including helping me, because I don't say I know it all. There's a lot of people that are helping me out, such as how we use the chemicals for paint stripping, how we will do the lime mortar. Please, any help you can give me. I don't know it all. I just need your advice as well. There's a lot of people that know a lot more than me that can help me with this. Just by words, I will listen to everyone that's gonna have a comment to say. So come on through. So I'll show you the cottage thing. So this is a lovely little space now. Before it used to have like a hot tin here. There's the tin there. I pulled it all down with a digger. So we'll get that recycled, or I don't know what I'm going to do to it yet. The cottage itself is more shown. Sadly, it's just plastic in there, so that all needs to be, again, I need to replace that. Sadly, it has to be replaced fully. I might keep the wooden windows, I don't know. It's actually, would you believe, that's cast iron. That's cast iron, and then it's replaced with a bit of wood. It's like a bit of cast iron, a bit of wood there. I assume that they were doing something, the previous owner's done something with it. But I'm getting through the ivy rightly. Look at the gates now. So this is all class. I'm actually quite proud of this little area with this cottage. You can imagine someone living here. There was a family lived in here. A family with 5 kids. It's crazy. Or a family of 5, sorry. We'll go in there afterwards, but I want to show you around the back of the cottage. If we can get through now, there's a bit of... So this is the back of the cottage, if you want to have a look there. This is where I was just showing you from the far side. The back of the cottage has no back door, but I tell you what it does have, which we found. If you come and have a look over here, Rowan, watch the stingy nettles. You just take a look down there. The hole that I showed you, this is the water rush that came out from the water wheel, and it went underneath the cottage. So this is the exit for the big water rush that had the hole that I had to cover in for health and safety reasons. This was the outside of the water rush, and it came out of here, all the way out here, down past this property here to the left, and down to a river. This is the river that used to supply the water wheel system, the hydro system. Someone asked me a question in the comments, can we turn this into a hydroelectric system? Sadly, we can't. The back water system has been dismantled. It was dismantled over 50 years ago, and it's never been recovered. So sadly, the answer is no. I wish I could. I think what I will do is probably turn the back area into solar panels. A bit of modern justice to what is a great property. So there it is. What you don't stay in yourself, Reem. Since the last time you were here, there are other videos, but I want to explain to you what I've done so far. If you look behind me, you can see the chimney. Now there it is there. So as you can see, this grand building has been removed of all its ivy, and the remaining ivy above is dying as we speak, and eventually that will drop off, and all will be left is the branches. They can then be pulled off, and then we can restore the brickwork. As you can see, it's starting to show its color of its original brick. But if you see from the last time we had a video, when we didn't have a gimbal, right, Roem? And it's a bit more stable now, as you can see, people. But there is a bit of building missing between the old or the new turbine room to the steam room on the right hand side. There was 2 walls here, and they have been currently knocked down. Why? Okay, so when I started having to look at restructuring the building, what happened was I found that the lime mortar was so weak and so poor, and the ivy had taken so much damage to it, it had to be pulled down. The good news is I will restore it and I will rebuild it using the original stone, which is now here. I have to get what they call a sieve on the digger, and I will sieve all this stone and sort it into different sizes. This stuff here will all be sieved, and then the muck will be then just pulled out. There's loads of stone that we have to work with. So come on and show you what I have to do first. All this stone used to be here. And it is very sad for me to have to pull this down, but it wasn't structurally safe. And it wouldn't cost much. Again, it'll probably take me 4 weeks to rebuild this girl. So what I will do is I will interlink the original building here, this girl here. As you can see, some of the big stones are still here. And I will connect new block at the back, put a brand new foundation in and link the foundation here. So I go down into this foundation hole. And what I will do is I will put a new foundation under here all the way down, and I will build a block wall behind and then a stone fascia. And there'll be a cavity in between with air venting systems in it. The good news is we won't have to use a lime mortar. However, for the aesthetics of the outside, I will continue using lime mortar. Inside, I can use a sand and cement. And then we have to put an insulation gap, and I'm looking at 150 mil of an insulation gap in between, so we can pack it full of insulation. That way, this room then will become heated. We'll put a nice view floor in, and that will be a part of the kitchen that it used to be. This is a big part of the job that I'm going to be doing. I should have it created by the next few weeks. The concrete down on this level, and then the concrete down on the far side, but I have to pull out a new foundation on the far side. The main goal is to restore this back into its former glory. It's going to be 4 weeks work with 3 members of staff, but a really good project nonetheless. This tree was felled, and I'm waiting for it to die, and then we'll chop it up into little bits and set fire to it. This house was lived in by its residents that we bought it off only 7 months ago. They lived here full time. I'll let you judge for yourself. Come on, see what we have. Again, I'll let you guys decide what the residents lived like only this year. Come on, see. They moved out of here. We got rid of all the furniture. They left everything. They just took some of their luggage and left the rest for us to tidy up. Very sad the way they lived. I felt very sorry for them. They moved into one of my rental properties, and they didn't feel it was viable for them to pay rent, and they went and bought themselves another caravan. And now they're living in a caravan in a holiday area in Northern Ireland here. But the conditions in which they lived here is absolutely horrendous. This was their floor of their living room. This is where they sat. Look, if you can have a look here. They basically just put chipboard down and it rotted. They didn't even nail it down. The conditions were absolutely horrific. I'm sure I'm going to find stuff. So I am. I just can't understand how anyone can live this way. So we found stuff. There's some stuff that we're going to keep in regards to just little personal bits of pieces that we're going to keep. But if you look above if you want to have a look above, you see the repair that was done. The repair of the beams was absolutely horrific. And what you'll see is there is rot, and the plate is actually rotten. But what they done was they bolted in little bits of planks of wood, badly cut, and as you can see, the beams have dropped against themselves because it's not been properly fixed. That is allowable as long as it's properly done, and sadly it wasn't properly done. The big beam itself above here, the big cross beam, I'm going to keep that girl. I would assume that's been around for a long time. It's a beautiful piece of wood, and I intend to keep it there and still put my beams in there. The idea really is for this room is to make it a entrance hall and then sub off the entrance hall. I showed you the architectural thing. Want to see it again on the high def camera. As you can see, I'm really proud to own them. I intend to maintain them, and it's a great structural piece of work. Now you can imagine the formwork that was required to put this in. You would have had to build an entire cross section here, and then put your brick on top and place it before you took down the structure. What I see, again, if you look over here, there's this as well. So there is another arch here. It is currently covered up and whitewashed. It's the exact same arch as that one there. So the idea really is to take that down as well and start, well, it has to be done safely because there's structural issues here, and I can see why. Looking on that corner there, up in that corner, this beam, by the looks of it, shouldn't be here. Either that or it's dropped, as you can see. So that structural beam is sitting off angle, and that will need to be lifted up, but we would have to take the floorboards and the floor joists out before we could actually deal with that structural beam. She's sitting downhill, and odds are that was, if you have a look, it's sitting into the arch, into the brick of the arch, so therefore it wasn't being supported. I'm actually wondering, I'll have to go to the plans on that, I'm afraid. So we've been working towards getting this operational. What we're going to do by clearing stuff out. The biggest project we've had so far is clearing out the building, and this beauty here, I don't know if I can get it open. I don't think I can, sadly. So behind this room here, behind this wall, is a really cool water wheel housing right here. It's in here, and this is a very important part of the building that we want to recover. I don't know how I'm going to get that down. It's actually bolted in by the looks, so it's going to be probably a bit of demolition work. I was hoping to get that. It's not even screwed on the inside. It seems to be braced and bolted, so that'll probably have to be taken out with a chainsaw. So massive water wheel housing in here. That has to be developed. And again, throughout the building, you'll see these little nodules, these little things cut out into the stone with these bolts. Do you see them there? Throughout the building, you'll see these, and you'll see structures like this. Look, if you have a look here, throughout the building, these are big, massive threaded bar. So odds are a massive machine sat on here, and it was carved into it. And again, more threaded bar. See here? And again, here, this girl here with more threaded bar and something that went through to this room here. That is the room that we're going to go to soon. But as you can see, there was some sort of chamfer here cut out, and odds are there was a big turning machine here that probably went through that way there. As we lift the floorboards and pull all these boards out, we will see the level of the machinery that was here. Do I keep it? I don't know. Let's have a look where else they slept. Do you want to come up and see this? This is crazy now, how they slept and lived. Now watch your head, Roem. Okay, so we'll go to the main room. Only one room upstairs. And as you can see, most of the stuff that was here is gone. We've taken most of it and burnt it and got rid of it. They slept here. They slept here in the summer and then slept in a caravan in the winter. Structurally, it's not sound. It needs a new roof. It needs a lot of work done to it, and the actual floor itself is in real bad nick. So I need to lift the floor up, remove the actual joists, and then do some work with the main cross beam that's down below. This here all has to come down, the whole lot. We need to open this girl up here. So this is the way they lived. As you can see, there was light coming through. And they lived in a blowy barn, is what I would call it. It was terrible. They slept there on that bed, if you can see that bed. It just beggars belief, to be honest with you. It beggars belief. I just don't get it. I don't know how anyone can live this way. Lots to do here, in this room here. I mean, you can feel the cold in here. And it's the warm, the sun's coming through, but you can still feel the cold in here. I'll show you the toilet and the shower facilities they had. This was their toilet. And this is how they clean themselves. That was it. That was the shower curtain. I don't know how anyone can live this way, to be honest with you. It's just very sad. And then here was where they slept sometimes as well, in here.
Was it the kids' room?
No, this was actually where they slept. There was a bed there, a mattress there. We took it out and set fire to it. So while we've been doing the work, we have found some pieces of steel and some other real goodies that we've collected. This is the barrow of goodies. What we found is some chain from most likely the water wheel. Okay, that would have been the chain that had wrapped around the thing, around the actual thing, and grinded made the stuff go round. We found a weighing scale. Now people would think, it's not a weighing scale. It actually is. So what you would have done is you would have hung this up, and the reason why it's like that is because this shackles on it here. If you want to go closer and see this, the shackles on it, and look at the wear and tear on that shackle. It has been used a lot. So I would say one time this used to be the shackle that used to weigh the flax. Where it was located, it was found on the far side of the building, and that was probably what belonged to that. One of the most exciting ones that we found was this girl here. We found an old weather vane, and a lightning rod. That there would have took the lightning strikes. And as you can see, it would have went round. I would assume it was either fixed or it had a cock on top. I'm sure we can find a few of them nowadays. Cut that one out, Roy. It has a copper ball underneath, and it's quite a nice piece of kit. We're going to take that away because I don't want that stolen. There's still people coming on board, coming into the property. We are trying to secure it, but at the minute, it's hard to prevent everyone from coming in here. What else have we found? I'll show you here. Put that up there for the time being. So, lots of things like pins. If you have a look here. So the pins that we find, this one here, as you can see, it's been battered down so much. There's a big battering on top. So it's been used as a holding pin, or a pin that used to hold some piece of machinery. Great piece of kit. Look at the big cast iron fire as well sitting here. So let's have a look here. More things like, look at that. What that was for, we'll never know. But Crazy bits of iron. Now all these pieces of iron are going to be put in back into the property once it's finished. I'm going to clean them all down. That's piping. You can feel the weight of it. It's not heavy. Well, it's heavy enough, but... And then look at that for a pin. So there's a pin there with the threaded bar at the back. What else have I found? Oh yeah. I wondered if anyone know what these are. Can anyone tell me what these are? They are sheep shears. Old sheep shears. How class are they, eh? There could be a horror story out of that one. More things like these used to be for putting doors together. So they would have been sitting, securing doors together. You would have pinned them across the doors to keep the strength. Ironwork. They used to be known as ironmongery. What else have we got? Some nice bits of gear, like different things like little hooks. Little things that came out of the working mill. Chain. Well, you've seen one chain, you've seen them all. Nothing exciting about that. And again, some eye bolts, brackets, hinges from the doors. All this stuff will be reconstituted, put back in, painted black, ground down. We'll probably send it off to a special metal worker. This one here is a cast iron bell. It took us a while to work it out, but if we just turned it this way around, what would have happened was that would have been mounted to the actual wall up above the. Are you okay there? Yeah. You getting light?
Yeah, sorry, this is providing enough.
Okay, this would have been mounted to the wall, and the gullies would have been pouring its water into here, and then it would have went down the downspout, down the downspout. This is actually made of cast iron. It weighs a ton. They're very, very heavy. Reason why they kept on falling and cracking, you see, because they're so heavy. Nowadays we all use PVC or aluminium. Let's see. There's a nice little old worn chain. I assume if you look again, the wear and tear in that is just amazing. So odds are that would have been a hooking system for the weighing scale as well. Just all the history. We are trying to recover every bit of history. It's not easy when you're trying to do the reconstruction, but I think we've done well out of that. Oh, what else have we found? Oh yeah. So this was found. It is a porcelain head of a doll. As you can see, it's made of porcelain. So that would have been a really old doll. That belonged to some child here. We'll keep that for good reasons. I'll not put that there. I'll have to put it somewhere safer because it get crushed with that metalwork. There you go. So there it is. There's the inside of this property. So much to do, guys. If anyone wants to offer free help, you're more than welcome. Anyone that wants to come over and just live here, you're more than welcome. I will invite some lucky subscriber to come and live here. And you can live here for as long as you're willing to do the work to put in with me and help me along. No problem. I can set it up. We have a contract and you guys come and work for me. No, not for me. Not happening. You can get free rent if anyone wants to live here. You'd be a madman to live here, to be honest. So come on through. Right, so we've been here before. And again, a close-up on the girl. This is my pride and joy. This is why I bought this place. My love for old buildings is just tragic. You know, I'll probably get no thanks in the overall for it anyway, and I'll probably not make much money on it. But it's just the love for these buildings. I mean, just look at the sheer wonder of that. But look at this stone, guys. Look at the size of this stone. Now, this was built in the 1800s. There is I would say there's easily 300 to 350 kilo of stone there. How did they lift it? I don't know. All these stones, these massive stones, look. How did they do it? If anyone knows how they did it, put it in the comments below, or, I don't know, write me a postcard. But I'm still confused. I see so many horse and carts and You know, they build timber systems. Maybe that's what it was. It was made out of timber beams. But the workload involved in that is phenomenal. You know, it's amazing how the digger has brought on construction a lot quicker. Yet, it was cheaper to build a house back then. Mind boggles, I don't know. Anyway, so we've pulled down the wall behind you there. That's the same wall that we've done on the far side. So, this was a building that was here. There was a building somewhere here. So the idea really is to pull a new foundation in here and again rebuild the wall with the wall that, because this wall was also bad. It was in bad condition. I've pulled it back to as good as I can get here, and the lime mortar seems to be solid here. The structural integrity of this part of the building is okay. It was just this area here was badly rotten. And it was more or less, if you could put your hand on it, it just fell down. So it had to happen. I had to make that decision. And the idea really is to rejoin. Again, the stone behind you is piled up there, if you can have a look. So that has to be riddled using a riddler on my JCB. And what I'll do is I'll riddle the stone out, put the stone here for assortment, for selection, and then we'll start building the base. Once I think the foundation's still there, if you can have a look, the foundation actually is still there, the old stone foundation. But because I'm a bit of a perfectionist, I will put a brand new foundation in. I just want to make sure it's safe. And I will put in a modern, if you can see here, come and have a look around the back, a lot of thistle. But what I'll do behind here, I will put a new foundation in behind this stone here. As you can see, it's all held together by nothing. So the idea really is to pull a new foundation in here, put a block wall in behind this, a proper breeze block concrete wall in behind, fill it full of insulation, and then put a brand new floor in here. This is where the tree was. If you have a look, the arch I told you about, there it is there. There's the big arch there. As you can see, it was filled in. There was a building here. If you have a look closely, there was interleaf of a wall here that it was demolished. And there's a bit of a foundation that comes across here. Now, if you take a look closer, look at this. Look at this steel work in here. You just about see it, but something was here. And then if I pull this away, look, it was built on top for some reason. I think what they done, whoever owned it, they built something on top of it. But if you look, there's the steel work again, look. So it was like a big steel frame, cast iron frame, just underneath it. Someone had laid something on top of this building, on top of this manifold. Where the big secret is here, revealed is here, look, big structure here. Now the idea really is to love this area. To me, it comes across a bit like the heart of the steam industry. I want to convert this room into a kitchen because it's really the heart of the home. Given the fact that I believe, and I truly believe that the mechanics that were here was the difference from turbine steam to mechanical output. And this is where I'm going to put my kitchen, because this is going to be where the family home is. If you have a look again, I keep falling in love with this stuff. Look at this. Look at that carved, again from the Mourne Mountains. Once I clear this and get this tree out of the way, this is going to stay in the kitchen. This is going to be where we will tile around this or brick around it. Whatever I do here is going to be, this is going to be our ground. This is going to be where the ground of the building is. And this is going to be a piece that will sit here in the middle of the island of the room. A lot of that stone will be gone. I'm going to take this away, but I'm going to keep it to about here. And we're going to make it a part of the kitchen. Because the kitchen is the heart of the home, I believe the heart of the industry should be it as well. And it will always be a regular question to anyone that comes to this property. What is that for? I have to find what was there. I have to find out what was there. It was massive. Whatever it was massive. Whether it was a gearing system, there were pipes coming in like this, look. Like this. We have to find what this pipe did. We know what it did. It produced steam. Where did the steam go? I feel it's here. Look at this. There's more massive granite slabs again, all sitting here. Through here, under this girl. I'm telling you, whatever was here has to be its kitchen. This has to be, when you walk through that arch, when I get that arch taken down, and you walk into a kitchen with a massive stone wall and the actual bench on there, I mean, what a view. Wow. That carved chip stone. Look at her. Look at her, Roy. Just look up at that. 200 years ago. It would require a phenomenal amount of staff to do something like that nowadays. I mean, it's not as tall as Nelson's Tower, but she's a tall, statuesque building, and I own it, and you guys get to see it. More steam pipes. I think I've already went through this with you guys. This is a pretty good steam pipe. It's all in one. I'm looking forward to making it a part of the structure. So if I rent the properties, this will be sitting somewhere. We'll attach it and pretend that it used to be a working steam pipe. Paint it black. Just look above. So I'm sitting here from the base of the chimney to the steam room, and I'm looking at this beautiful little arch sitting in here. Come on round here and come closer. You have to come closer. And as you can see, this arch was where they lit the fire. So the pipes came into this channel below me here. It's all covered up with concrete now. But in there was where the fire was lit. There was a tank in there that heated the water. And the water then was pumped into the steam room in here, where a larger tank created steam. And that's where the power was converted into mechanical power. I get really humbled by this because we forgot about this technology, and it still sits here as a reminder of what we used to be as humans and how we stoked the fires of industry. And that is the statement behind that, stoking the fires of industry. By putting that fire in and making that fire go, that was the thing that made this mill work and beat it into flax, where they thrashed the flax and then put it into linen. And this is linen that you wore on soldiers' backs. It was the things they put on tablecloths. It's the stuff they put around cheesecloths. Linen was a big industry. And this mill was probably directly responsible for a percentage of the world's linen supply. And I own it. So what I'm looking for is a hope there are no bats in here. Come on in. This is the steam room where they used to develop the steam from the big chimney system. This runs at the same parallel as the big chimney behind. If we were to take that roof off, you'll see the big chimney up there. This place is invaded by vine. Won't take long to clear this out, to be honest, and get it all cleaned up. Looking further in here, look what I found. Another boat, a massive wooden one. So we'll get that out and we'll take that for a swim. It'll probably sink, no problems. Here inside, there's a bit of brickwork that's been done here. This is where I told you, this is where the steam was. This is where the steam function happened, in this room here. Got a lot to do here. Got a lot of clean out. This is actually quite a cool room. I like rooms like this where it's dark and dingy and you could turn it into a beautiful place. Looking above, there's no habitat that I can see that's worthy of concern. But overall, structurally, it's actually quite stable. It's quite safe. I don't see any major issues there. Someone done some repointing again. If you have a look, there's lime mortar. That's the way it should be. Look at that. And then some idiot has come and put cement in. Now, yes, it's strengthened and it's a single skin wall. You don't need to have it breathed, but if you were putting that into a property, you have to get rid of that. Or you have to vent walls so that this skin can breathe on the inside, because it can certainly breathe on the outside, but it has to breathe on the outside and the inside. Anyway, over here, I'm going to take that back. And then we're going to find out what that girl... They just dumped everything. They just left everything behind. It's terrifying, actually, the amount of stuff that they've left behind. So here's a potato lifter. This actually used to be a mechanical structure that was actually... They used to lift potatoes out of the ground We're going to restore that, and we're going to put it prime center in the middle of this courtyard. Yeah, watch you don't fall. So we're going to put it prime in the middle of this courtyard, and we are looking forward to having it painted black, put on a bit of a stone. We'll use some of the stone that we have, and we'll put it up for display. This used to be pulled by a horse and cart. I think at a time they used to pull it with older tractors as well. Not far from here, one of the best tractor manufacturers in the world came from here. I don't know if you know the story about Ferguson, but there is a guy who done the Massey Ferguson, and he's from the north of Ireland. So just remember that. In here, again, architectural arches. Here we are again. There's another one, okay? It was blocked up. This is where you used to go, and out of this, there's a big, massive water slide here. And this was water that was pushed out underneath the ground, all the way through here. If you follow me, Roem, it went down here. It is there, there's a video on it, and it's an underground water tunnel that goes all the way to that cottage over there. If you wanna have a look at the cottage over there. And it goes underneath the cottage and then out the back. They built the building on top of the water tunnel. Okay, so what was here? For water to rush out at this sheer size from here to here at a blast, there must have been a massive water wheel. Where it is, it's in here. Let's go look. Okay, so yes, here we are. So this was the previous owner's little garage area, storing area. Again, there's the architectural arch here, yes? And as you can see, this has been blocked up. But look inside, you see there's a wall here and there's another wall here. Now, if you remember the main building, the hole that we had looked in is here. And there was more pins and structures here in this area here. There's more structural stuff with the thing where there must have been some sort of massive axle that went across here and was mounted onto here to possibly end here, because it doesn't go through to that building there. There seems to be no structural holes made for that building. Okay, so here again, if you look again one more time, there's another friggin' block up. Jeepers, jeepers. If you have a look, here it is here. That's been stoned up, and there's another head above it. As you can see, the water came down here at a fast rate and then straight in underneath the tunnel, out over the cottage, out to the river. So, was the water wheel here? No, the water housing is round here. Come on, I'll show you. Come and see the water wheel structure. I'll have to pull this out of the way for you, Reem. There's a lot of acro props here to keep the building up at the minute. We have to take all these out. These all have to come out. I have to rebuild the structure here. I have to put new walls in and try and save that roof. But in here is the speciality, is the je ne sais quoi. Now I have to pull this all back. This is actually all overgrown since. So come on through here, Roem. So, okay, so more Bangor Blues being just dumped down. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna just unveil the water rush that powered this massive water wheel. Now, you see a housing here, okay? Or you see just a tunnel. What I will show you in a minute, and I don't want to reveal to you now because it's important to show you the picture. As I'm lifting these beautiful Bangor Blue tiles that should have been saved and looked after and maintained, not used as a underneath this, whatever he has here. I think he was collecting his water here, which is an absolute disgrace. But under here is where the old water wheel used to be. How do I know? So, if you look above, the largest stone that I've had the pleasure of seeing. These are stalagmites from the massive beam that we have across. The structural beam that's there is phenomenal. We're gonna save that, girl. But in here, this was filled with, as you can see, stone and then laid with a concrete. Someone has put planks in here, and then what they've done is they filled that in and they've put it into a roof. This is all concrete. So that has to come out again. This is where the head of the actual water wheel was here. This is where this girl was. If you have a look down below, this has been covered up But if you look closely, look at this. This is a massive chute made of iron from an original tunnel of water that came from the back of the property, and the water would rush down here super fast. Massive tunnel. If you could see the sheer size of it. And the water would come down here at a fast rate and turn the water wheel that was here. We're going to replace it. We're going to put it back. Once I clear this whole place out, we'll find how to make it right. But this is what look what I just found. So this was something that housed it. See that big, more mechanical structure? So something was here. We will find out. We will take this all back and we will find where this water wheel was. We want to make this a part of the property, and we're going to put the water wheel back in here, but we're going to make it fake. It's not going to turn for water. I may put a bit of water in, pretend it's splashing, and then put glass around it here. But what can you do? What can you do? There's nothing really you can do much about. I tell you what will happen. See in these holes down here? Odds are we'll find more bits and pieces of the original water wheel, because odds are it was taken apart and all the bolts and the bits and pieces that were in here are probably still lying in these holes. So we'll get a metal detectorist in here and we'll get him to look at that other thing. So there it is. This will all be pulled back. This building here, currently sitting here with the breeze block, she's gone. She has to come down. So I have to take this whole building down. This is not an original building. So the idea really is we have to clear that in order to find its original standards. Odds are we will build a new building here, just here, where these old foundations are, and we'll rebuild this area here where these current agro props are, and we'll try and support that beam carefully. We'll have to realign the acros up to the roof, take away this rotten beam, take away that house, and then rebuild a beautiful new room and probably put windows, nice windows and doors out onto the back of the property. We'll apologize for the shakiness now because our gimbal had run out of battery. We've been filming now for 2 hours and it ran out of battery and we didn't bring a battery supply, so I do forgive us for the shakiness of it. Okay, so this is the barn that I talked about with the roof falling in. If you come on inside, now it's all right, it's safe enough, this part, but it's this part down here that needs to be redone. As I was talking earlier, this needs 2 new hips. However, the far side of the roof also needs done. If you just turn your camera around, and you'll see there's Ivy has decided to take advantage of that as well. So really what it means is pulling the entire roof off, saving all the Bangor Blues. Remember, they're bloody expensive. If you've got Bangor Blues, keep them. They're always going to be handy to reuse. We have been storing Bangor Blues away and trying to maintain and keep them. Any Bangor Blue that I have, I want to reuse them. We have to buy new ones, but that's the way it is. But up above, I'm going to have to put a new hip in. Well, there's a brand new roof all the way through to save this building. Again, this is a beautiful building. This would make a brilliant rental, or it'd be a great asset to join onto the cottage because the ridge height is exactly the same as the ridge height in the cottage. So let's go to the cottage now as our final run of the work. This here, if you have a look closely, it's an actual table saw, an original table saw. It's on its side currently, but if you look closely, the massive saw blade in here, do you see it? If you want to come closer to it. So this would have been known as a Victorian or post-Victorian table saw. That would have been for cutting logs and beams and that sort of stuff. Great wee structural thing, but sadly it's made by, if you look here, look. No, careful. That's all right. If you have a look here, so it's done by Lucas and Sons, Soho Foundry in Newry. So this was a table saw that used to operate. Again, if you have a look here, there's more of it here. Look, there's the table saw. So that'd have been the pulley for it. That'd move that saw around. We'll get that out. We'll do a video on that one. So we will, because that looks really exciting. And again, the Lucas & Son Soho or Sono Foundry in Newry, I've never heard of it. So they're probably gone a long time. We'll find out about them. Anyone knows about this Lucas & Son? Comment down below. All right, so let's move forward. So the cottage itself, this little building requires very little work, I think anyway. The roof's intact, structurally sound. It just needs a gutting out, new floor in, insulate it, extend it, and it can be put into a nice little 1-bedroom cottage for Airbnb if you wanted to. So let's come and see it. This is the main room. This is where the previous residents bathed. That was their bath. If you want to have a look there, please. Yes, that's where they bathed. Every couple of days they had a bath. I knew because they left the bath water in the property, and they hung up their knickers when they were bathing. And so this was more or less the bathhouse for them. This all needs cleared out. Again, structurally, it's okay. There's a center wall here that needs to come out, and I'm going to pull that all out, and I'm going to make it just one area. It'd be great for, I don't know, just a wee 1-bedroom cottage. Beautiful little open fire, granite stone hearth. I mean, you could make a great feature of this. This actually, if I thought about it, this place would be great for someone to come and live on the property and act as a caretaker, a caretaker's cottage. And that's what I might call it, the caretaker's cottage. I think this was known as the Thrasher's Mill or the Thrasher's Cottage, but it's probably going to be for a caretaker, for someone to look after the property while I'm away. They'll probably live here rent free. So again, if anyone's looking to come and live on a property free of charge, as long as you want to maintain the grounds and the land for me, you can come here, live in this place for free. You just have to pay for your electricity and your keep, and I will let you live here for free. I will do it up to a modern house, really good modern property. This is where they lived for a long time. So we'll take that wall down there. You get your light on, Maureen? Come on in here. So once again, a lovely little room. It's got a piano in it from Boyd's. It's rotten. But this property itself, again, look at that, guys. Go and see that cast iron fireplace. I'm looking forward to doing this place up. I think that's actually a new floor in. We'll have to dig down and see what the floor is like. Look at this piano. Let's have a look. Does it work? My piano skills are not so hot now. And a lovely old typewriter. Let's have a look at that typewriter. An Adler. Adler Universal 275. Anyone remember this? And it's buggered. No. Oh, it still works. What height? Just can someone tell me, what height were humans back then? Have I grown too tall, or is this... Would you fit under it, Raweem? You probably won't even. So yeah, great wee room, great wee place. And I'm super excited to do this room up. This will probably be one of the first rooms or first buildings that I will do up and get it all fixed up. And that's it. Tour of the mill in full, done.